What race comes to mind when you think of actors or actresses in the Hollywood film industry?
Probably white.
Mainly like a big representation of like Europeans or like basically white people.
I think that there isn't like holistic representation of Asian Americans in films. Like it's always very stereotypical when there is representation, or often there like isn't any representation at all.
I definitely know there are films like based in Asian countries where Asians are able to take more acting jobs, but definitely everywhere else there is a like lack of representation.
Oxford Dictionary defines representation as the description or portrayal of someone or something in a certain way. In recent years, many news outlets and social media platforms have recognized and reported the Hollywood film industry as biased against minorities, tending to fill their films with primarily white Americans. Specifically, many have become upset at a lack of representation for Asians and Asian Americans because young children are unable to see people with their skin tone or race in popular films existing in their everyday lives. Part of the reason why this issue has not been publicly addressed is because people are unaware that this is truly a problem that exists. According to a Hollywood diversity report write-up from the University of California, Los Angeles, whites were overrepresented among all top films in 2016, claiming 78.1% of major roles while only taking up 61.3% of the United States population. On the other hand, Asian Americans only carried 3.1% of the film industry roles. Although the United States Census shows that they only make up a total of 5.6% of the entire American population, statistically speaking, there should be more representation in order to indicate equality in the film industry. This number really is not that small when you consider that the total number of Asian Americans is 17,320,856 people. If you want to know what these statistics look like in terms of people, the diversity report discusses that in 2016, there were only 42 Asian American actors involved in Hollywood, only 10 of which were female. This might seem higher than you expect, but compare this to the amount of white actors, a whole 1,056 people. An article from NBC News regarding the whitewashing of films in Hollywood asserts that producers have defended backlash, arguing that there is a lack of interest from Asian Americans, causing them to have to cast white people for many roles, even if the role specifically calls for someone of Asian descent. This is only another attempt to dominate the film industry with whites, underrepresenting minorities in the film community. The Great Wall, a movie produced in 2016 discussing the fictional narrative of a man confronting the Great Wall of China, disappointed many Asians as Matt Damon, a popular white actor featured throughout Hollywood, plays the main character. It seems like an unreasonable expectation for Asian Americans to have to come forward and try out for roles when they are clearly not respected, even if these roles are supposed to be meant for them. Thinking further down the line, children will lose potential aspiration for being in the film industry as adults because people of their own skin tone or race are never involved in what they watch. It's emotionally disturbing to think that all the innocent, hopeful youth might never have the motivation to even attempt to be casted out of fear that they will be rejected.
But like sometimes you see issues where white actors take like the roles of like Asian American characters, which is fine, but I think it happens way too often in the industry.
A greater number of high-quality movies that include people from minority groups more routinely, and that includes movies where the primary characters or families or communities are authentic representations of authentic families and authentic communities.
Unfortunately, many of us have accepted the lack of diversity in Hollywood as a reality. However, no change will ever occur if we stay silent. One action you could take is posting on platforms such as Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, and Twitter. Twitter especially is a great one because it's a good way to spread the message to people that you don't know without exposing parts of your life that you might choose to keep private. If you follow these examples of tweets, we can eventually bring enough awareness so that Hollywood producers understand that this is an issue worth focusing on. Social media is something that has recently started to force itself into our lives, so by posting, sharing, and retweeting, we can force our passions into the lives of everyday people, eventually bringing it to higher powers who can make a difference. Another quicker and more structured way to get involved in this issue is to sign the petition that I created at the link in the description below, or visit the link directly here. Advocating for more representations of Asian Americans in the film industry. Change.org is a great method of spreading your message to other people who also might care about the issue. And although the current goal is only 100 signatures, the hope is that we can eventually obtain enough so that it would be brought to the CEOs of Hollywood and producers who can make this change a reality. I have already shared this petition on my personal social media platforms, and if you feel so inclined, you can share this link below so we can spread the message and issue as far as possible. Lastly, if you feel extremely passionate for increasing diversity and representation of Asian Americans in Hollywood, submit a message on the Universal Studios Hollywood Contact Us page complaining about the whitewashing of the film industry. The link to this is right here. You may feel free to use any of the points that I have discussed in the video, or you can do your own research and come up with some on your own. Make sure to tell your friends and family about all of these action plans as well. The more people to advocate for the change, the more likely it is that we see change.
I think that the narratives that Asian American characters have should be dictated by actual Asian Americans, not just white directors. And I think that Asian American characters should be allowed to have like a multifaceted personality and a multifaceted character, rather than like, I feel like the Asian American characters that we have now are really one-dimensional.
I believe that people casting actors shouldn't base someone off by their names. I know it's a big issue where a lot of non-white actors and actresses are changing names to sound more Americanized so that they will at least get called back. And I feel like they should just not discriminate at all.
It's disappointing that representing all races in the film industry is a concept that we even have to discuss, as it should just be something that is a given and doesn't need advocation. However, this is the stage where we are at. With enough support for the cause, this can be a change that we help to make, even if it's just little by little. I hope that this video has served its purpose of letting you know that the issues that exist with representation of film industry. Thank you for watching it in its entirety, and if you have any other suggestions as to how we can make this change, make sure to leave it in the comment section below.